to happen.
Hello and welcome to the Practically Minimal blog. I'm Shauna. If we haven't met yet, I'm the founder of Practically Minimal. So I'm really excited about our conversation today. This month, we are focused on setting up for success. That's the theme of the month within our community. So we have an amazing guest who has some really excellent insights and expertise on that topic. So I am thrilled to welcome Kristina Del Corro of KDC Coaching to the blog this week. And Kristina, she's a mindful relationship coach who teaches her clients the mindful way to get things done, make more time, and get unstuck. So definitely things that I know I could always use some tips and advice on. So welcome, Kristina.
Hello, thank you, Shauna, so much for hosting and for having this space for us to talk. I'm also joined, my cat is here. He's kind of camouflaged right now, but he's here as well. So he might join us for a meow or two. His name is Alfred.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, hopefully Alfred makes a cameo for sure. Yeah, I see him over there, comfy on the chair. So what we kind of wanted to cover today is, of course, how decluttering, organizing, cleaning up, kind of creating a really, calm, organized space can help get us set up for success in any area of our lives, really, that we're wanting to improve on. So I am super curious to get your take on this, Kristina. What do you think about that? Or do you think it even makes a difference if you're organized?
Oh, all right. Well, I must preface this by saying I was always that kid to be very particular with my desk, with my pencil case, with my locker. So I've always been that type. And so I believe, yes, it does matter. And it's funny because a lot of the work that I do with my clients, like we look and we talk about blockages, and we start by looking at our space. Because even for me, I found that when it came to my workspace, when it came to my home space, I was manifesting and doing vision boards about abundance and all of these things, but my space was just piled of things that I didn't care about anymore. And I didn't realize that we're just creating blocks. And so once I started clearing all of the junk out, both physically and mentally, I was able to actually really get through manifestation and tap into the power of that. And I feel like, yeah, it does come down to the decluttering and the organization of it all. And I use, one of my coaching things, I call it making space, and we declutter.
Yeah.
We declutter together.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so important.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those things, it's simple but not always easy, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, I am totally on board with you. I mean, and again, like from my experience too, I kind of was a little different. Like I started off like a completely messy, disorganized. I did have a lot of stuff as well, like you were saying you did. And yeah, to make kind of room physically, it really does make a change energetically. And when we want to bring, some new things into our lives, we have to make room for them. And I think, in our physical space, and I think that that's so key for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So tell us a little bit more about what you do as a coach, Kristina. Like how do you help your clients? What does that look like?
Sure. So I call myself a mindful relationship coach, but also like a mindfulness mentor for all ages, because I really believe in the value of practicing mindfulness for our lives. So I teach mindfulness to children through yoga. And I think of, even like for adults, think about how you use yoga, if ever, or like have tried meditation or just focus on our breathing, and how that's such a great place to start. And I wish I had those tools as a small child, because I think of all the trouble I could have kept myself out of if I just learned self-regulation, essentially. And so that's why and how I love to teach mindfulness to children. And so I have been working with kids for like 15 years now, and I was seeing like how it was really helping this age group. And I had a lot of parents asking me questions and friends asking me questions of how we could really use this in our daily lives. And so I started one-on-one coaching in my city, and then pandemic, and realizing also that my message and the work that I could do could be reached worldwide through the World Wide Web. I created an online classroom, and basically an online learning classroom, that I just call the KDC classroom, because everything that I teach and believe in is that kindness drives change. So thinking about whatever type of change we're seeking in our life, starting with kindness, starting with mindfulness, essentially, is where we can start and should start. And so I have online challenges and courses where we have one-on-one coaching, where we have group coaching and community. And so it has been such a fun space to reach people outside of my time zone, which has also been very confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a great space, and I'm excited to keep growing that space, to keep coaching to more humans, essentially.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And I mean, taking something like the pandemic, and I mean, it's happened to a lot of us, right? And just being able to sort of, look at new ways to, to help people and to share, our knowledge and help people kind of improve things that way has been kind of a good opportunity when you look back at it. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's
it forced us into change that we wanted but didn't want to work for, in a way. And so yeah, it's been really fun to pull people out of their shells, including myself. So
yeah, that's great. So kind of on that same note, we've of course talked about kind of the physical purging, kind of clearing space side. But as a coach, like, what other like advice or any other tips, like how else can people, kind of set themselves up for success in, kind of whatever area that they want to do make some changes or achieve something in?
I love the little sign you have behind you, the clutter is real. And where that brings me automatically is my brain clutter, because I'm such an introvert, AKA I'm such an overthinker, where my anxiety can take me to places where I don't like to go. And so I find that brain clutter is a real space for me to get mindful and for me to tap in. And so one of the ways that I love to use is I also like to time block a lot. But whatever. So thinking of time blocking, essentially, you have a certain amount of time that is dedicated to one single thing. And one thing that I noticed with my brain clutter, it was always a lot of worry, and it was a lot of overthinking, like I'm saying. And so instead of letting that clutter build up and suck more time out of my daily life, honestly, because I was sitting in this overthink and this anxiety and keeping me stuck, essentially, I dedicated a time block just to worrying and just to overthinking.
Yeah.
So something would come up in my brain. I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll write this down so it has some place to land. I'm like, okay, my time block is at 2 p.m. That's when I'll deal with this. And so 2 p.m. would roll around, I'd pull out my list, and then I would work through those worries, being like, okay, this is my time. This is the only time I have dedicated to to whatever is on this list. And I found doing that helped me even create more time, because I would refer to the list and either it wouldn't matter anymore because I've had it time to breathe and live, or I would be able to like be in a clear space to actually deal with whatever the worry was. So that's one of my most helpful ways that I deal with mind clutter, is to use a worry list or an overthinking list, however it shows up for you.
I think that is brilliant, like in a word. That's amazing, because yeah, it's like when those things pop up, it just to have a place like to put them, it's almost like a bit of like a temporary resolution, right? Like you're just setting it aside, you know, you can deal with it later, and it just allows you to like, well, clear the brain clutter, right? And just kind of get back focused into what you were doing, rather than kind of going on that, you know, that worry kind of tangent. So yeah, that's incredible.
You can even do that with kids, right? And so another thing that we can use is a fear list. So if I'm starting something new, thinking of all of our kids that are going back to school, or even for us, if we're going into a new project, a new season, I know that fear is going to show up. So instead of it having a space to be cluttered in my brain, I'll just have a fear list. And then I'll write down all of the things that I'm scared of. I'll think about solutions that are possible when I'm talking about it with kids, right? So like it can be used for anybody, any age.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. That's great. And I know that you have a mindfulness challenge coming up. So can you just share a little bit about that, and how we can maybe get on board with it if mindfulness is something that we're wanting? Actually, maybe let's start by, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of explaining what mindfulness is, just in case, you know, we're not familiar with it.
For sure.
And then, yeah, let us know about the challenge.
So I know that mindfulness can kind of feel and sound like a buzzword, but the way that I like to define mindfulness is being kindly aware of our thoughts and our feelings to really drive our actions. Because when we're not mindful, we're just, oh, there's a feeling, oh, there's a thought, here's how I'm going to respond in fear, or how I'm going to respond in an old habit type of way. But being mindful is, oh, there's the feeling, there's the thought, this is what I actually want, and then moving ahead with that. So that's the definition of mindfulness that I like to teach and follow. And so my challenge is the Kindness Drives Change Fall Challenge. It's too many words, I know. Essentially, like, I feel like fall is such a season of reset, especially because kids are back in school, and like it's, especially in Alberta, like we have seasons usually. So we can tell that change is coming. And so using this free 10-day challenge to really focus on what that change is and what we want, and then using like my 10 steps, these 10 practices to help move us a little bit forward. And so people can sign up on the KDC Classroom, which I'm sure you'll link. Thank you, Shauna. Also, it's linked in my Instagram. And yeah, we'll have a community on the inside as well up until the end of the new year. So we can keep coming back to it as a soft space to land.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I'll sign up for that for sure. Yeah, I'm really wanting to kind of get back into my mindfulness practice. I find it's something that I kind of like, you know, jump in and out of a little bit. So yeah, so that sounds amazing. And like you said, like kind of that fall reset, it's really great timing to be offering something like that. So
you'll love day 2, because that's when we declutter.
Awesome. Yeah, I will love day 2 then. That's great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us on the blog. And yeah, like I said, I will include the links so that you know how to get a hold of Kristina and join in on that challenge as well. So thank you so much.